Hello, welcome to the Loney Show. I'm your host, John Malone. In this episode, Eric Taylor will eventually come, but if not, well, the show must go on. As for our guests, they're both from Dallas, Texas. They're co-authors of thrillers and short stories, award-winning thrillers of Enigma Series, and a foundation of real technology threats with the cyber heroes of the R Group versus the cyber thugs of the darknet. Ooh, interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Rox Burkey and Charles Breakfield.
Woo! Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Howdy.
You.
Good copy. Very good copy.
Thank you. So, how's life?
Well, I've always enjoyed it. The good thing about it is that it comes with a free trip around the sun. So I'm delighted.
Okay, nice. And is there anything you've been up to much recently?
We are very busy because we have full-time jobs, but we also really enjoy writing. So recently we released a new book. It's actually a cozy mystery, which is our first into that genre. And we borrowed a few of the characters from the Enigma series to do that. And it's only been out a week, but it's been received pretty well. We're excited about it.
Wow, nice. And what inspired you to write a story about within the Enigma series?
Well, we started off writing technical manuals way back in the day, first part of the century. And they're usually out of date by the time you get finished with them. So Rox showed up one day and said, new idea, let's do fiction with the technical facts baked into it. So let's make this into a story much like you would see in the around the campfire in the old days of the storytelling, doing as an oral tradition. So that's kind of where we got hooked on the Enigma series.
The only difference is we kind of ripped the headlines from the day's news, or we put the headlines out there depending on who gets it first. And so we take a threat, an existing threat, one like I'm sure you've heard of called identity theft. And we bake that into the whole storyline of the good guys versus the bad guys at the cyber level.
Interesting. And how long have you been working on the Enigma series for?
Well, we started the first iteration of it, the first draft was 2012. So we're right at the 10-year mark.
Wow, incredible. And what do you like about being authors?
Being authors gives us a chance to not only use the information that we get in our professional careers from a technology perspective, but it also gives us a chance to be creative and to a degree kind of put warnings out to people that they need to protect their identity, or they need to be ever vigilant as they deal across the internet.
Okay, great. And what have been the high and low points about being authors in general?
Well, reviews are always a tough discussion. People like the stuff that you do, and then they move on. They forget to add a comment or a kind word, or something about I really enjoyed how this character was done. So we actually had a reviewer send through a note and saying, I didn't want to. I just didn't want to like that character, but I couldn't help myself. He was so thoroughly evil, but I felt sorry for him. That's probably one of the best reviews I can recall, because it was so honest and so accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a good highlight of what's going on. I think that not having more success that we thought we would have from day one reminded us how hard you have to work to make things happen. And so, improving on marketing, having the good fortune to be on podcasts such as yours and be able to share information with a I don't know, a more
diverse crowd.
A more diverse crowd across the world. It really makes sense for us because our books actually do take place in various places around the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also heard you're also technologists as well.
That's true. We've, speaking for myself, Roxanne is also a technologist as well, but I've worked on global teams, worked with British Telecom for them and Hewlett Packard, Nortel Networks. We've been seconded to help train others in the technology field. So we get to see an awful lot of the fun stuff, some of the future stuff, and some of the things that people say that can't be right. That isn't around. That's like already here. You just don't know about it.
And we've been around technology to the degree that we have seen a huge acceleration of technology adoption by individuals, more so than the original business adoption that technology track took, and also some of the pitfalls of technology. Not that there are always good sides, but there are always some pitfalls to new innovations.
All right then. And out of all the books in the Enigma series, what has been your favorite to write?
Oh wow, that's a tough one, Peter. That's like saying which one of your children do you like better?
The cryptocurrency.
I think the cryptocurrency one, book number 10, the Enigma Source. We had a lot of fun with that one. A lot of research went into that one, and we actually had postulated that Venezuela would actually need to go into take their economy into a digital format and use cryptocurrency. And then before we get the book published, they popped up and announced, "Hey, we're going with cryptocurrency here in Venezuela because our inflation is so bad." And well, there it is. So it's like, wow, it's really spooky to be able to write about something and have it come true.
Okay. And is there a certain genre of somewhere within the Enigma series you've really thought about wanting to write someday?
That's a really good question, to be honest with you. And so, the series itself is based on thrillers. So there are the cyber good guys against the cyber thugs, with the intrigue and the world travel and all the thrills that go along with that. But we found when we released some of the books that the reviewers, in some cases, were really interested in trying to learn about the backstories of some of the characters, or how the R group, which is the cyber heroes of our series, how they came to be. And so we have written a smattering of short stories that are in different genres, contemporary, women's fiction as an example. But probably the one we had the most recent fun with, released last year, was the historical fiction out of Poland, which goes into the origination of the R group, the actual forefathers that happened by three young men as they were escaping Poland when German was overrunning their borders in 1939. So we had, again, a lot of research in that one, a lot of fun in creating that one.
Yeah.
Okay, incredible. Is there any way these books in the Enigma series actually link up with one another? Like, are these stories about centered around one character's family, or is it just like a massive universe of different diverse characters within each story in the Enigma series?
Well, to be fair, we write each book so that they can be written or read individually and still be enjoyed. Nobody likes saying, "Oh, you got to start at the beginning to read to read book 12. You need to read the first 11." Yeah, they are richer in that context, but we deliberately write them so that you can you pick one up and say, "I want to read this one," and that's the only one I'm interested in. Okay, we want it to be a satisfying experience. Now, with but what happens is that characters mature, they age, they sometimes I don't want to play anymore. we take that input from, and this may sound a little silly, but we take that input from the characters that we're writing about, because sometimes I say, no, take me this way, take me that way. So the R group has people joining, evolving, standard life activities, because these are, even though they're fictional people, they're also evolving. So our character universe is I would consider it quite rich at 150 characters. So that's as we shuttle people in, we take people out. I mean, it allows for a good story stream that brings in breathes new life into the storyline.
And one of our favorite characters, to the point of part of the point of your question, one of our favorite characters that evolves in the story is actually our supercomputer, and his name is Ichabod.
Yeah.
And Ichabod evolves because technology evolves. So every time he appears in a story, he's gained new capabilities, new insights, new ways to help partner with the R group to defeat the threats from the dark net.
Yeah. By book number 5, he's trying to understand humor, and so we have an interesting exchange with his creator, Quip, and the computer trying to learn. Okay, why is this funny? And so we exercise him a little bit here and there, and he picks up new attributes in each book, and it's sort of an evolution process.
Okay, nice. What's the most useful thing you own?
The most youthful thing we own?
Yep.
Our creativity.
No, it's not creativity. For you, it's your Harley.
Well, that goes without saying.
Charles does like his Harley. He takes it out often, riding the hills in Dale.
Yeah. Well, and she's got a name too. That's Swan. So, she gets grumpy if I don't take her out on Saturdays, and well, there it is.
All right. Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Does it have to be full time? Because I like living in Texas, but if I had an alternate place that I could go, I really would like to go and live in Australia or New Zealand. That's me.
Yeah.
I kind of like the the Caribbean. The Virgin Islands has always held an interesting attribute as an offshoot from being in Texas full time. So there's we've been all over the planet. So and there's so many places that are nice to visit, but I sure do like coming home, getting on the Harley, and reading and seeing the Texas countryside.
All right then. Great. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
Well, come on, madam. You're the one that always has such a
Well, I honestly enjoy reading a lot, and one of my favorite things to read are like Victorian romance based novels. But I would only like to do that if I could be in England and be part of the elite class. One of the minor titled people would be my fancy for that, and wear those wonderful clothes. But that would be me.
With my luck, I would say, okay, I want to see World War II, and I'd probably be a foot soldier. And that would be like, how dumb is that? So I don't know. But yeah, I like the World War II. I've never get enough information about it. Whatever theater, the Eastern Theater, the Western Theater, the Asia Pacific theater, all of that is fascinating to me. I guess because watching how a world could go insane and continue to battle themselves until everybody says, okay, we give up.
And to be honest, it would be fun to be in a point in time where technology is not inserted into every waking moment. we could have real conversations with real people. That would be delightfully exciting, like this. I mean, having a conversation with you is wonderful.
Well, a lot of that is based on the fact that the Enigma machine that the Germans pioneered for their communications, basically the progenitor for the computer that we're talking through and slinging voice across halfway across the planet. So those are key backstories and thought processes for us as we're writing in today's world.
Absolutely. If you could erase one past experience, what would it be?
Could erase what? I'm sorry?
If you could erase one past experience.
Oh, one past experience. Wow. I don't know. You start erasing experiences either as an individual or as whole countries, and the downstream effect is so unknown. I guess if it's a personal experience, and I'll let Charles do his next, but if it was a personal experience, I would have pursued that career and become a doctor.
I did not know that about you, Adam. And for me, I probably wouldn't, because all of the mistakes, all of the heartache, all of the good times, the bad times, they all contribute to who I am now. So go back and erase something that taught me a lesson, however harsh, would be, I would think, foolhardy at this stage of my career. It's like, no, I needed that beating. I needed that bully, to whip up on me so that I know how it feels. I don't want to be, have everything so wonderful that, did you ever have hard times? Well, no, because I got them all erased. Ugh, boy, are you dull.
All right then. What's your favorite ice cream topping?
Whipped cream.
Chocolate.
All right then.
Did you want us to think about it longer?
Good answers. What is the best way to start the morning?
The best way to start the morning for me is to be able to have about 2 hours of absolute me time to just do nothing but write. I'm much better at writing first thing in the morning before, everything starts bothering me, I guess, for lack of a better term, or intruding on my private time.
But what I like to do is I like to get the hound dog, walked, fed and walked, and then parked. He got a full tummy, so he's not, bouncing around saying, "Let's go, boss, let's go." And then I want to sit down and write. I want to make sure that I'm contributing to the information and story flow to my partner, Burkey, so that she's got the stuff to be able to consider, and we have discussion time after we've whacked on the next story. Those are very valuable moments. Just walking the dogs, having a conversation, talking about the story threads, this character development, what's right and what's wrong, and take on the rest of the day.
Okay, nice. If you had to pick between skydiving, bungee jumping, or scuba diving, which one would you choose?
You go first.
I would go for scuba diving, because seeing all the creatures in the sea would be, for me, I think, very, very exciting. I think the others are something where it's just you against the rest of the world. But I kind of like the idea of floating around in the water, and, sharks don't interest me much, but the rest of it would be fun.
Well, all you have to do is watch me, try to get out of the water with a barracuda after me. I mean, that's always entertaining. But I have to tell you, skydiving, no. And the reason is I worked with a delightful young lady who was teamed up with the hurricane chasers in Louisiana, and her parachute. They taught her to jump, and one time her parachute candled, and she took it all the way to the ground. And I'm sitting there stunned. I said, "How did you survive?" She said, "Well, the wind had blown me just enough far forward to be able to ride a tree trunk down and help break my fall and then crash into the needles at the base of the tree. That's the only thing that saved my life, Charles. And I went, I'm stunned. So with that story in my mind, and she pulled out all of the pictures and showed me, I'm like, I'm not there for you on skydiving. I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you meet anyone famous?
So years ago, I ended up in New York City and went to this wonderful restaurant at the time that was called the Russian Tea Room, and it was very fun, and it was like an eye-opening thing to be able to go to this with my my mom and my dad at the time, and we went to this and we sat in this wonderful little table. And I don't know if you've ever been to New York, but the tables in the restaurant at that point in time were very, very, very close. And there across the way, I could see Elizabeth Taylor. So I didn't meet her, but I did wave at her.
Huh,
All right.
okay.
All right then.
No, for me, I had I'm not sure I can qualify it on the air properly without some of the expletives that come to mind, but I have worked for, in close proximity, the billionaire Mark Cuban.
Wow. Okay. Nice. What was the last book you've read?
I read the book just before the one that book number 4 in the series of the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicle series, book number 4. You won't know when or how. It's a cozy mystery, and it's the one just ahead of the one that we created called the Flower Enigma. So that's I just finished that one yesterday.
And I just finished and reviewed a book that, it was heart-wrenching and humorous and sad and eye-opening, called Black and White: Tales of the Texas Highway Patrol by a gentleman named Ben English, that I never realized how much law enforcement gave back to the community for decades if they were in that career. And the stories are, again, phenomenal, just phenomenal. I happened to listen to it from an audiobook perspective, and it was, I recommend it. Like, if I could give 10 stars for it, I would.
Okay. Great. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich?
No.
I've never thought of it in those terms. So no.
All right then. Fair enough. I respect your opinions. What has been the most stressful situation you've been in?
My most stressful situation would have to be when I actually got laid off for the very first time from a job. I was crushed. I was unprepared. It wasn't because of a performance issue, so it was very surprising. And the stress came from, oh my gosh, how am I going to meet my bills? And it was for me, it was really crushing.
Dang. That was stressful.
Yeah. So, and for me, the most stressful one was getting the phone call from my brother's wife saying he had passed away.
Okay.
I don't know. You've got some great questions going here, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. But that one about the hot dog being a sandwich, man, I'm gonna puzzle over that one the rest of the day. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. How much time do you spend on the internet?
At least 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I would say close to 8 to 10 hours a day, and probably most of that is because of my job.
Yeah. Because we're after the pandemic, most of the jobs, particularly for people like us, I'm in the telecommunications arena, so everything is voice for me and data, and getting it to remote areas. So we eat our own dog food. We're always on phone or always on the network, and it's always across the internet. So it's an easy step to say we're online 10 hours a day.
All right. Cool, cool. What were the silliest things you believed when you were younger?
The silliest thing, but I still believe it though. Santa Claus. You know, people keep telling me Santa Claus isn't there, but I'm not buying it. Santa Claus is it.
Okay.
The silliest thing I ever saw, me believe, until just last week, was we had a 1950s car, a Buick to be specific, and the high beam, low beam switch was a toggle switch mounted on the floorboard, not on the steering wheel like they are today. And so my dad conned me and my brothers into blowing on the dashboard from over his shoulder, and he goes, "Okay, I need to drop the high beam down to low beam. Blow on the dashboard." And we go, and he'd click it without us knowing where that switch was, and he dropped the high beam. He goes, "Okay, good kids. All right, all right." And then it's like, "Okay, car's gone past. All right, blow again so I can go to the high beam."
All right then. Oh man. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you here, Roxanne and Charles, talking about your works on the Enigma series, works as an author, and everything else. It's been amazing.
Oh, it has. We just love your questions. Fun time with you today.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
And to be honest, I need to go find a hot dog someplace. Now I'm hungry about that.
Oh boy. And until next time, stay tuned for more. And we're clear.
Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Nice.
Oh, and Eric, you, it just ended. Eric, the episode just ended. Oh my gosh.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Oh.
We embarrassed him.
No, it's all right. It actually happens at times. But yeah, it was great. It was great having you on here.
Thank you again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Peter.
You too.